Okay, so in this video we will be reviewing the MAXX model HopUp chamber. It's their latest 1TE model, if I remember correctly. Basically today we'll be testing it versus my current HopUp chamber, which is Super Shooter's stabilized HopUp chamber. I will show you that later in the video. So basically we will just have a first look on the HopUp chamber from MAXX Model. MAXX Model is, if I remember correctly, Canadian company which was dealing mainly in RC model world, and now they are creating some airsoft products. This one is the MAXX Model HopUp chamber. Okay, there's some light here. Okay, so this one is their latest version of HopUp. So this one we'll be reviewing today. So let's open it. This is just a spare Delrin C-clamp, because this is the part of the HopUp chamber which is most physically damaged in some cases. So we'll open the package now. Packaging is very simple, just the name and name of the company, name of the product, which is good for some countries, because in some countries there is a problem with importing airsoft goods which has some pictures or soldiers or some weapons on the packaging. And this one you cannot tell that it's some real still life, because in some countries airsoft parts are mistakenly classified as real steel parts, which is of course not correct, but not every country's customs officers know that. Okay, so we have here a simple one-letter manual for anybody who was already doing some tech work on airsoft guns. This should be all very similar to some different airsoft HopUp chamber designs. Of course, MAXX Model has some specific ways on their product, how they do some things. For me, this will be the first encounter with the MAXX Model HopUp chamber, so it will be maybe a little harder for me to get it together in the first try, but maybe that's a good test as how easy it is to actually put this together for someone who is first time doing this. Okay, so in the packaging, as I already mentioned, we have the HopUp chamber itself. So it's really nicely red anodizing on it. If it will focus. Okay, focus. Okay. These holes, you can cover them with some plexiglass which is in the packaging, or you can buy from them a LED module, or you can do it yourself, and then you can have a tracer HopUp unit. For me, it really doesn't really make that much sense, because I don't really do night games, and even in my HPA gun I would have to use very heavy tracers, and they don't even make heavy tracers in the weight I need. So there's nothing specific about this one. It's really nice. The cool feature of this MAXX Model is this BB catcher, BB stopper. So basically, if you have a magazine like this one, and if your HopUp chamber will go somewhere like this, this will prevent BBs from flying out when you put the magazine out of the body, because it's basically pushing this fire. I don't know if it will work on this magazine. We'll test it. This is PTS EPA magazines, and I will also test this on SEMA magazines if this will work without any issues. Now then, in the packaging we have one spring which is good for like positioning of the hop-up chamber inside the replica body. Then we have a C-clip, which is used to fasten the inside the barrel inside the hop-up chamber. Then we have an O-ring, not sure exactly for this one, but we'll see in the manual. As I said, this will be a good test if this is really easy to follow and to mount. And then we have a clip. I think this will be stabilizing the inner barrel inside the hop-up chamber. Then we have the before mentioned plexiglass pieces. These are for covering the side walls of the hop-up chamber if you do not use the LED module. And lastly, we have the hop-up adjustment arm and also the adjustment knob and its holder. Okay, so for introduction, this will be all. On the next part, we will see the actual mounting of the hop-up chamber on the barrel. So welcome to another part of the video. In this part of the video, we will be mounting the MAXX model hop-up chamber to my HPA replica. This is F2 Polar Star replica, and it's currently using a super shooter stabilized hop-up chamber with the classic style of the adjustment. So it was really long due to get the rotary style, and I think MAXX model is the best candidate for replacing the hop-up chamber. So I'm going to unmount it now. So as you can see, this is my current hop-up chamber. It's the super shooter stabilized one. The stabilization means it has these two pins which you free, then you insert this inside your body, and then you make them secure with these two Allen adjustment screws, and then it holds in place very tightly. But as you can see, it has still that old style rotary adjustment. So it's really an old style. Okay, and these are the pins which I mentioned, these two pins, but it doesn't really matter for us because we will be getting rid of this one and using our MAXX model hop-up chamber.
One eternity later.
Okay, so now we have removed the outer barrel from the old hop-up chamber. We have the old hop-up rubber here. This is maple leaf 60 degrees and a maple leaf omega knob. Okay, so now we're going to install this into the MAXX model hop-up chamber. So now I have to check the manual because I never put together this type of hop-up chamber. but I think it's straightforward. You put the maple leaf HopUp backing. They even suggest maple leaf HopUp backing, so it should be working fine with this one. Then there's inner bell, so you put inner bell. Then you put this ring over the barrel. Okay. This is PDI 6.05 barrel, 375 millimeters long. Some of the hop-up chambers has a problem that on this barrel this type of stabilizer is too tight and you cannot slide it over. This one fits perfectly. There's only a little wobble there, so just enough. Then you put this O-ring which was included, and on top of that you put this spring which will stabilize the inner bell inside your body replica. And then you put this in. Now my question is, I guess I don't need to put this one here, because it looks like already inside there is installed convex nap. It's maybe a little hard to see, but okay, if you can see it, it has this oval shape. And if we'll have a look inside the hop chamber, I don't know if you would be able to see it right there. So there is already inside convex adjustment nap. So I guess the only thing now we need is to actually put this to 0. Now, what do we want else? We want these. Okay, so we put this here, I presume. Never done it before. So this one has this round shapes on one side and square on this side. If we see, there's also on the hop-up chamber, on the top of it, there's the round corners and a square on the bottom. So I will just put this right here. Okay, now it fits right there. When you're finished, only then do the final torque on the screws. Okay, so this is now on. It shouldn't go anyway. Okay, what else? Seems like we don't need to do anything else. Now for the test, we will see if the BBs can actually pass through the hop-up chamber with the maple leaf backings. There's sometimes this problem that the lips are too long and they're protruding inside the hop chamber, and then the BBs cannot pass easily through the hop-up chamber. So we're gonna See if this is the issue also here. Okay, so as you can see, I will zoom in. Okay, so we push the baby over here and then it slides right out, so there's no problem with it. Now the second test is if actually babies can pass through here. They shouldn't pass straight away. There should be some tension, but not really too strong. So the baby is now seated on the lips of the backing. I will push it very slightly. Okay, so the problem was the hop up, but still it requires a substantial amount of force to pass through. Okay, now we will put everything together.